Morning. I am live on StreamYard. I'm live on my telephone. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today? I know it's a little crispy in the Northeast, and it's a little chilly down here in the Southeast in North Kakalaki and all down south in South Carolina, too. Maybe down into Georgia. I don't know. I can only speak for North Carolina. It's like about, what is it, 42 degrees right now. Anyway, this is your host for this segment of Early Morning Tea. I help people who are stuck in grief to get unstuck. And there are a lot of other things I do too. My grief counseling services is called Grace to Win. You can locate me, you can find me here on Facebook. I have several pages. You can DM me on my personal page. If you look at the yellow banner at the bottom, there are other ways that you can find me. My website is www.thegrace, the number two, the grace to win. My business email, www.gracetowin720. So Grace to Win 720 is my business email. You can reach me there, or my personal email as well, lydiaford52@gmail.com. Now, I have well, maybe I'll wait until the end since I don't see anybody. Oh, there's Minister Sheila. Good morning. I have some exciting things to share with you this morning. But let's get started. I had to take a little break on Monday. I needed a little break time, and I can do that because I'm the CEO of my life. Next to God, or I should say He's first, but next to Him, I am the manager of my own fate and my own time. And so I needed a little break this morning. So I do greet you and welcome to Early Morning Tea. I did tag some folks because I have a couple of announcements I want to make today. So we'll just carry on and see who shows up this morning. I have two topics. I'm not sure I am going to complete all of the topics or both of the topics. I may. It's not a whole lot because the first topic I sort of included already. I talked about it already the beginning of the month or the end of November when I said that between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I wanted to help us kind of give us some help for those that are grieving the loss of a loved one, whether it's recently, whether it's the last 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, beyond a year. There are still some folks that are stuck in grief. There are still some folks that really need some help, especially during the holiday season when their minds go back, flashbacks, maybe dreams, or you have pictures, you have memories as you're preparing meals, Christmas meals, Thanksgiving meals, New Year's Eve. You're thinking about those members of your family, those loved ones, even friends, even pets that you have lost recently, or as I said, it might be in the past. But a lot of times, and I will include myself, we need some help. We need some reminders. We need some encouragement that will help spurn us through the holidays so that we're not a mess, so that we're not doing more crying and moaning and groaning than celebrating, because it's a season of celebration. Last week, it's already the 6th day of December, but we're already in the Advent season. And this is a time to rejoice. This is a time to celebrate. This is a time to look forward to the holiday season, the Christmas season. Because guess what? No matter what things are being said or spoken of or written about or shown on TV or on social media, let me help y'all. Jesus is still the reason for the season, okay? He is still the reason for the season. He is what Christmas is all about. The first, five or six or seven, Christ, the first 6 letters in the word Christmas spells what? Christ. This is when God sent his son, came down, became flesh and blood, and dwelled among us. in the form of a little bitty baby, a little vulnerable infant baby. So if we focus on the great love that our Creator had for us, the great love that the Father had for us in sending His Son, if we focus on that during the Advent season and we make that our focal, and we're like focus on that He's the reason for the season, we might have moments here and there where we, a memory, a picture, a smell, or something like that reminds us of that empty space at our table, that empty space in the bed, that empty space, during the holiday season, representing the loss of your loved one. If we focus on the main thing and keep the main thing, which is Jesus and His birth, we'll have less time to focus on other things, or our sorrow, our misery, our depression, or whatever. But I do want to give you some more tips. I call this holiday toolkit to help those of us that need a little bit of encouragement, a little push to not focus so much on the things that we've lost, but to focus and refocus on the things that we still have while remembering and celebrating at the same time. So there's perhaps no milestone so daunting for the newly bereaved, but I'm going to add the old bereaved too, as the holiday seasons, a time typically spent celebrating family and enjoying the company of loved ones. Getting through your first holiday, I'm going to talk to first timers, okay? The anniversary of the first is what we call it in grief counseling. That's such a difficult time. Getting through your first holiday season without a loved one is difficult, but certainly not impossible. Just as you have weathered the grief process so far, rest assured that you will also weather the holidays. Now, you can make preparations for the time ahead, watch this, by building your holiday grief toolkit, which is made up 4 main steps. And so I'm going to give you those steps. Okay. It says that I have a worksheet attached. I don't have a worksheet attached. Find the worksheet that will guide you through all 4, but they are summarized in this message this morning. Okay. So here are the 4 tips. First of all, identify your authentic wishes. What is it that you wish to do, to honor, to remember, to memorialize your loved one? Identify your authentic, not what somebody else thinks you should do, okay? But what you authentically desire to do. The first and the most important step is being honest with yourself about how you want or need this holiday to look. Grief is an intensely personal process. So whether you feel you need to be alone watching movies all day or out celebrating as you usually would, you have every right to do so. You have every right to do whatever makes you feel good. Start by asking yourself, good morning, Helen. Ask yourself the question, in a perfect world, what would I do on that day? In a perfect world, what would I do on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? If you're unsure of what you want, try to think through or write out several different scenarios to see which one fits you the best. If you're not sure, get a tablet, piece of paper, write out 4 different scenarios about what you think would be the best way for you to celebrate Christmas. Number 2, this is a good one. Good morning, Pastor. Drop your expectations. Don't force yourself to do anything that you are not up to, especially if the grief is recent. As recent as 2 weeks, as recent as a month, or as recent as 3 months, 6 months. Don't force yourself to do anything that you're not up to. Remember, it's only 1 year. It's okay to do something different. If this is the anniversary of the first, it's only 1 year. You can do something different. Give yourself the grace to do what it is you want to do. It's not about people pleasing. It's not about family pleasing. It's not about traditions. We talked about that. Do what feels good for you. Give yourself grace and don't feel like you need to be in a box. You need to be structured. You need to be rigid. Don't do that. So the first thing, identify your authentic wishes, drop your expectations. You may even have to drop tradition, things that have been in your family for years, things, ways of celebrating Christmas, the getting together of family, the menu, the presents, and how you do all of that. You may have to drop that this year because you might not be up to it. Number 3, make a plan. We're talking about a holiday toolkit for the bereaved. Make a plan. Even if you anticipate spending the day alone, planning out the day ahead of time can help you know what to expect. When you make a plan, even if it's something as simple as going and renting a movie, we used to rent movies, right? Or sitting, okay, let me get up to 2023. Hallmark, that might not be a good idea because a lot of times those are sad movies. They end up happy, but a lot of sadness and a lot of crying and stuff is in the Hallmark. You might want to stay away from that. But Netflix, Prime, Paramount, Disney, choose wisely. If you're using these streaming networks, choose programming wisely. All right. Give yourself something concrete on which to focus. So if you like Westerns, if you like comedies, if you like horror movies, if you like suspense or mysteries, whatever, write it down, just stream, take the remote and, go up and down until you find something that kind of suits your mood, your emotions right now. You just might want to do all day comedy. One of the things that I do when I kind of feel down, I find a comic that I like, a clean comic. And oh my God, I'm thinking about him right now. And I can't even think of his name, but Holy Spirit knows. Sinbad. I will watch several comic episodes of Sinbad because he's pretty clean cut and he's so funny. All right, even though these are old comic routines or comic shows, I want to be entertained. I want to laugh. Okay, so you might do comedy. You might do animated stuff. You might even resort back to childhood and find something that a holiday movie. It could be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer's Frost. I still watch those and I'm 70 years old. Could be Frosty the Snowman, but those are still things that I watch. Okay, could be the Santa Claus. All right, it could be any of those, but picture the day ahead of time will make it less intimidating. You gotta have a plan. You gotta have a plan. So yes, you may take an hour, or you might take a little small chunk out of that day to memorialize your loved one. You might go to the cemetery. You might fly a balloon. You might do something. If you're in a warmer climate, you might plant a tree. You might buy a tree and decorate it with your loved one's favorite things and pictures, like a decorate, like there are a lot of little pictures that I used to have and I put on my tree of my kids when they were in school and they put them on an ornament. Okay. Take time out to grieve, to cry, to remember. Don't just act like nothing has happened. I don't know how any of us could ever do that. Don't just act like nothing has happened because a lot has happened. But what I'm saying is don't spend a whole day. Plan out your day. All right. So if you want to go to breakfast with, one of your friends or a family member, or you want to take your child to breakfast, okay? Whatever that is, you want to go to lunch or plan. What am I saying? Plan out your day. I love Frosty and yes, I do still watch Frosty and Rudolph and sometimes the Grinch because there's different, different Grinches. Here's another one. Find an outlet. Many find that talking to someone, be it a counselor or a close friend, helps them process and understand their feelings. Your outlet can be talking or anything else that helps you work through your emotions. Could be yoga, could be journaling, could be running, could be cooking. And if you don't know what helps, try a few different things and see what fits best. All right. Losing someone or something we love is very hard, and everyone grieves in their own way. There's no right way, there's no wrong way to feel or cope with. However, there are some things that you can say or do to support the child and help them process their emotions. Oh, wait, this is another topic. Okay. I think that was the four things. Now I got on this other topic. All right. I'm going to review them. I'm going to review them because there were only four things in the toolkit. I didn't realize that I had gone through all four. So here they are again. Your holiday toolkit. Identify your authentic wishes, okay? Not what somebody else thinks you should do, but what you authentically and what you're capable, what you have the strength to do. All right, identify that. And then drop your expectations. Don't force yourself to do anything that you are not up to doing. All right. Don't let anybody put the blame game and the guilt game on you and make you feel that you have to do what you normally have done in previous years. Drop your expectation. All right. You might do a little bit of what you used to do. All right. Because you're not up. You may not feel up to, you may not even have a support system. Let me help you. If it's a recent death, a lot of times your support system have gone back home. All right. They've gone back home to their community, to their town or city. So the support that you might have had that could be with you over the holiday is not there. I remember when I lost my husband and I lost my daughter. Lost my daughter first, lost my husband. So they both died on October the 28th, which is about a month from Thanksgiving. So my mom was still around. My sister was still around for those major holidays. Well, for Thanksgiving, not for Christmas, because I think I went home. I went to South Carolina for Christmas. But because it was recent, it was close. The burial of both of my loved ones, my daughter and my husband, were buried around November the 3rd or 4th or something. So that's just a few weeks from Thanksgiving. So they were around. And I still had that support, all right, there. When my husband died, my sister helped me to pack up my husband's things, all right. I didn't live in Albany, so I wasn't there to help do anything with my son-in-law. You know, his mom was there, his brother, his church was there. They had their support system going on in Albany. And then I had my support system here. But what if you don't have that, all right? What if you don't have that and you're the one that usually cooks Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner and people come to your house? Well, this is not the time. If your husband died, a child died, a sibling, this is not the time to have everybody over to your house. No, you have to scale that back. All right. Drop your expectations this year. Tell everybody stay home, stay where you are, you know, or if a couple come, then say, okay, this year I'm not cooking. We're going to go out to dinner. Here's some choices. Okay. Here's some places, you know, we can decide together. We can take a poll of where we're going, but I ain't cooking this year. All right. I'm not doing that. We ain't doing the chitlins and the collard greens. All right. We ain't doing all that this year. All right. Scale back your expectation. And it's okay to do that. Give yourself the grace. Make a plan was number 3. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. If you don't plan ahead, you might spend the whole day rolling on the floor, snotting and crying. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Plan out how you're going to celebrate, honor, respect, remember your loved one, and then take care of your soul. Do self-care the rest of the day, and then find an outlet. If your outlet is your BFF, if your outlet is your parent or sibling, somebody from church, your spiritual mother, your mentor, then talk to that person. If you love knitting if you love sitting by the fire and drinking chocolate and eating popcorn or whatever, do whatever makes you feel good. Take care of your soul is numero uno. All right. Because nobody's going to do that for you. All right. And there's just some people you don't want to have around you during the holidays. Negative folk, you don't want to be around negative folk. People gossiping, you don't want to hear that mess. Even some churchy religious folks, you don't want to hear, oh, your daughter or your husband is in a better place. Oh, you know what? God just needed another angel. You don't want to hear that mess. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear religious talk either. I don't know about you. I know I didn't. But you want to be around people that are positive. You want to be around people, if you're going to have people, that can really help you and do some practical things. Enjoy some basic, everyday practical things, okay? Go into the movie. Maybe a half a dozen cookies. Going out for breakfast or a meal or something like that. Something that you can enjoy with maybe one or two other people. You may not want to be around a lot of people. So make a plan and find an outlet, somebody that will help you take your mind off of things for a while, whether it might be exercising, it might be running, it might be, just going to a movie by yourself, whatever it is. You have the grace, you have been given the power to take care of your soul and to do whatever you want to do. So now we're going to switch now, and we're going to talk about how to support children. This is a biggie, who are grieving, whether it's a recent death or over time. Okay. Losing someone or something we love is very hard, and everyone grieves in their own way. There's no wrong or right way to feel or cope with grief. However, there are some things that you can say or do to support children and help them process their emotions. And here are just some tips from my search, what I found, and even in my own grief counseling classes or information that I gained from reading books. Here are some that I found helpful. And I want to, in the new year, expound on helping children with grief, because it's such an important information. It's such an important thing to support children that are grieving, because today children are grieving a lot. Children are grieving over a lot of things, being safe in their home, being safe at school. All right. Those are losses. When you can't feel safe at school, when you can't feel safe in your community, those are actually losses. And children grieve that. It's not just always death of a parent, a sibling, a pet. There are other things that children are grieving right now. So let me just give you some tips. Offer support, reassurance, and comfort. Let the child know that you are there for them and that you care about them. Give them hugs, hold their hand, or sit with them when they're sad. Don't sit them in front of a television. Don't give them an iPhone. Don't give them an iPad. Don't give them a back in the day we called the what are those things? Sega Genesis. They're not called that now. Nintendo, well, that's out of date. But whatever those things are now, don't just let that stuff occupy their time. All right. You can also offer to help them with practical things like homework and chores and errands and sports. Show up at their basketball game, show up at their football game, show up at their gymnastic tournament, show up, if they're a part of a band or choir or whatever. Show up. Find time to do enjoyable things together. Even though the child is grieving, they still need to have fun. Kids still need to have fun and enjoy life. And doing activities that they like, such as playing games and reading books or watching movies, can help them feel more normal and happy. Children need to feel normal and happy. You can also do something special to honor the memory of the person or pet they lost. In a scrapbook, planting a tree, or donating to a charity, or starting a nonprofit. Okay? Acknowledge or help them name or identify their feelings. This should not be a guessing game. You need to ask your child what they are feeling. How are they feeling? Don't just assume they're all right. or they're feeling sad, or they're no. Children may have a hard time expressing their emotions, especially if they are complex or conflicting. You can help them by naming the feelings that you see or hear. Name the feelings that you see or hear from them, like sadness and anger and guilt or fear. Children are very transparent. It's not difficult to figure out if they're sad. They'll show that. Or if they're angry, you'll hear that. All right. You can also ask them how to listen to their answers without judging. Woo, watch this one. Or correcting them. Don't judge and don't correct them. Don't put your opinions and feelings inside of what they're trying to tell or express to you. It is what it is. They're telling you what it is. All right. Don't judge and don't correct them. Don't say, oh, no, it's not that, it's this. Don't do that. You can validate their feelings by saying things like, it's okay to feel that way. Don't say, I know how you feel. Don't say, I know you don't. You may not know how they feel. These are kids. But you can validate their feelings by saying, it's okay to feel that way. Or I understand. I don't like this one. I understand how you feel, because I don't like nobody saying that to me. You know why? Because everybody has their own relationship with whomever they lost or whatever they lost. So you really cannot say that I understand what they feel, even with little kids, because their relationship with their brother was their relationship. It wasn't your brother. Their relationship with their dad was their relationship. It wasn't you. It wasn't your dad. It might have been your husband, but it wasn't your dad. Good morning, Stephanie. So stop saying, I know how you feel, even when it involves children. You don't know. Okay. Let them know, validate, say, say it's okay to feel that way. Let them know that they are loved and will always be cared for. See, that's what they know, that there isn't a legitimate adult that's going to be there to care for them. That's what they know. And not a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs adult. They need a stable adult that they can count on to be there, to validate their feelings, to comfort them, and to help them through the grieving process. Children may worry that they will lose other people or things they love, or that they are somehow responsible for the death. And you do not want your child, any child, feeling responsible, okay, for anybody's death. You can reassure them that what happened is not their fault, and that you and other people will always love them and take care of them. You can also remind them that the person or pet they lost will always be in their heart and in their mind, and they can talk to them or think about them whenever they want to. This is very important. Reassurance and validation for kids is important. Assure them that what's happened is not their fault. Children may blame themselves for the death of a sibling. Watch this. They may blame themselves for the death of a sibling, a friend, or pet, or think that they could have done something to prevent it. But you, as the adult, can help them by explaining the cause of death. Watch this. Explain the cause of death in a simple and honest way, and by telling them that nothing they did or didn't do caused it. Don't get into magical thinking. This is not Disney. Explain it in the most normal way as possible. No, grandpa is not in that big star in the sky. Don't do that. All right, don't do that. Don't add mysticism or magical stuff to the death of a parent, a sibling, or a pet. Keep it simple, okay? And keep it honest. And don't lie to kids. They can see straight through that. Right? Don't lie to kids. Again, explain the cause of death in a simple and honest way, and by telling them it or didn't do caused it. I mean, something simple as, if the child's mother had cancer, and it over time just wore her down. Loss of her hair, loss of strength, loss of weight. And you can remind them of the process their mom went through, all of the chemo and the radiation, the times when, you had to take their mom to the hospital, and over time the kids can see, they can observe that parents or mothers or fathers don't have the same strength and energy. They don't have the same get up and go. They're not able to come to your track meets or your basketball games or whatever. You can see that they have lost their hair. You can see they've lost weight. You can see that they've changed. And so when you explain over a period of time, you go through the process with the kids. And then now at the end of that journey, it results in and parents losing their not being able to speak or not being able to breathe, or their internal organs have shut down. You got to explain the process. Don't make stuff up and don't lie. So the progression of the illness begins to make sense because you're pointing out this happened. You remember that happened. You remember, and then at the end of the day, your mom or your dad did not have enough strength. Everything shut down that used to work. Their heart, their lungs, whatever, shut down. And now they are no longer able to live a full life. Please be honest with your kids. No magical, mystical crap, okay? Because that will hurt them rather than help them. Death, you can emphasize that death is a natural part of life. That's what I'm trying to say. And that sometimes it happens unexpectedly or unfairly. Answer the questions about death simply and honestly. Children are naturally curious and they seek information. So give them good information, right information, honest information. Don't inflate. All right. Don't inflate. No imaginary stuff. Okay. Death and the corresponding emotions may be new to them, and they need information to start processing these feelings. You can encourage them to ask questions about death or the deceased individual and answer them in a way that is appropriate for their age and understanding. I'm going to get into this a little bit later next year because, very important in this age, the age in which we live, in which our little kids from preschool and upward are being terrorized in neighborhoods, terrorized in school, natural disasters happening. Oh, so much. Their whole little lives can be touched by anticipated death, accidental death, viruses. Oh my God, illnesses, okay, cancer, all kind of things that impinge upon their little lives, as it does ours as an adult. And you know how we don't always deal well with death and dying as an adult. So you can imagine it's 10 times as hard for kids. You can also use books and stories or metaphors to help them understand death better. For example, you can compare death to a flower that wilts and dies. That's something they can see. Or a caterpillar. All right. And that becomes a butterfly. Use natural things, scientific things, simple things, dependent on their age. Keep in mind, age appropriateness is what's going to help them understand better. You can help them with grief in healthy ways. Children may express their grief in different ways, such as crying, withdrawing, acting out, or regressing. You can help them by providing them with outlets for their emotions, like talking and writing, drawing and playing, natural things that children just naturally do. So why not incorporate that in best practices and use those things, writing, drawing, acting, playing. You can also teach them coping skills as breathing exercises, relaxation techniques, positive affirmations. You can watch this. You can also model as the adult healthy coping by showing them, watch this, how you deal with your own grief and emotions. You're the adult, so you can model. Who best to model other than the adult that has to deal with the child every day as a parent, okay? Or as a grown-up, or some children may not, they may be in a situation where they're living with one. They raised their single family, okay? Mothers raising. There's so many different families nowadays, and you got to keep that in mind. They're not the typical biological families anymore. There's a lot of different. Some children are not even with their biological parents. They've been adopted, or they're in shelters, or They're just different types of families, different cultures, different races also celebrate death or honor, the bereaved, or those that have lost loved ones. It's a whole now. Okay, it's a whole dynamic. But the best thing is to show them by modeling how you deal with grief and emotions. I'm almost done. Seek professional help if needed, because sometimes children may need extra support from a mental health professional, such as a counselor, a therapist, or a psychologist. This may be the case, watch this, if the child shows signs of severe or prolonged grief. We call that complicated grief. Most grief, when it comes to kids, adults, normal patterns, normal grief reaction, pretty much normal times to kind of adjust to life without their beloved, their loved one. But if it draws on, if you see kids not eating, if you see kids, their behavior changing in school, in terms of how they play, other types of grief reactions that are not normal, that are suspect, that are suspicious, or that are concerning. They're depressed. They don't want to get out of bed. They don't want to, participate in some of the same activities, sports activities, musical activities like they used to. The grades started plummeting. That's a key right there. They're A or B student. Now they're getting D's and F's. Those are signs that there's something wrong. They're not processing the death of their loved one. So they need to seek counseling, therapy. May be the case. Again, if they show signs of prolonged grief, such as depression, anxiety, watch this, suicidal attempts and thoughts, self-harm, watch this, even for older kids, adolescents, substance abuse, or academic or social problems. These are like keys to let you know that they're not processing, they're not making their way through the grieving process. You can consult with the child's doctor. I'd advise you do that. Their teacher, who knows more about what's going on with the kid than the teacher, because most of the time I was a teacher, so I had the kids like 6-7 hours a day, all right, to observe them. So consult a doctor, their doctor, teacher, school counselor, to find out if they need professional help and how to assess it. So I hope that I have given you some helpful tips for you and the child that you are trying to help. Remember, grief is normal. It's a natural response to loss, and that it takes time and patience to heal. As a grief counselor, I tell my people, it takes grief work. This is work. This is not a cakewalk. It's not a walk through the park. You got to do your part. You got to do the grief work. I have tools, I have strategies and things that I put in place for my mentees and my counselees, but they got to actually do the work in order to get to that sweet spot where they're no longer stuck in grief. All right, that they move, not just that they cope with it. And then, like a 12-step program where the person goes in, if they're an alcoholic, that's the first thing they have to decree and declare. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a drug addict. I'm a, whatever. No, grace to win. I want you to win. I want you not to just survive or cope. I want you to thrive. I want you to go on and be your best self. I want you to understand and know that your identity is never tied to anything you lost. That your identity is in your creator, your higher power, whatever you call it. I call him Jesus. I call him God. He is your creator. He's the manufacturer. He knows more about you than you know about yourself. And guess what? He still has an awesome, wonderful, great plan for your life. It don't stop. It's ahead of you. And sometimes he has to take mess, or you use mess to bring about a miracle. Sometimes he has to use mess to give you a message. Sometimes he have to give you tests to give you a testimony. Whatever happens in your life, Ecclesiastes says this: time and chance happens to all men. So there's time and there's chance and there's all that stuff in between. You're going to go through something. You are going to experience death. It's going to be all around you. But how you handle it, all right, is a different story. Do you remain stuck in it? Do you remain depressed in it? Do you remain not hopeful or fearful of it? No, not if you have the right mindset, knowing that God doesn't want you to remain stuck in anything too long. Okay. Remember, grief is normal. You're going to go through. It's going to take some time. It took me a long time, but it may not, it took me a long time. But you know what? Because of what God did inside of me, how he healed me, how he delivered me, how he made me a resource to other people by writing these books about grief, because I have already plowed through and gone through. When you deal with me, when you become my my client or those that I help, you may not have to go through those years of being stuck in grief, because you have someone that can help you navigate and get out of it and get on the other side of it, knowing that God has still a wonderful plan for your life. So I hope that I've helped you with these tips for you, your holiday toolkit that I talked about earlier, and some tips on how to help children. It might not be your child, it might be somebody else's child. All right. It might be one of your students. It might be a patient. I don't know. All right. But remember that grief is normal, it's natural response to loss, and it takes time and patience to heal from it. You're not alone. You're not alone in this journey. And there are many resources and people who can support you along the way. I'm going to put some of those resources in the comments down here. Kidshelpline.com is one of them. Kids Helpline. And I'm typing. It might come out in all caps. I'm not sure. Kidshelpline.com.au it is. So that's one. Let me see. I want to make sure I spelled it right. Yep, I'm going to send that one. That's one of them. There's another one. Positivepsychology.com. I'll try to type that. Positive Psychology. PSYCHOLOGY. That's another .com. I'm going to send that one as well. I hope you get that one. There's another one. Oh, Psychology Today. That's familiar to most people. Psychology Today. HOLOGY Today. And these are resources to go to look up or to find help for children that are experiencing loss. I gave you a few. Google is your friend, and now Bing AI is your friend too. So you can just type in a few words, help for children at during the holiday, help for grieving children during the holidays. Stuff just pops up, a plethora of resources. So you can find more information and get more information on how to help children who are grieving, especially during the holidays, but in general. Now, before I go, I want to show you something. You already know that you can get your early morning tea mug. You can get those. A lot of people have them already. I mailed a lot of them last year, early part of the year. But if you would like one, you can still buy an early morning tea mug from me. I ordered a few. But guess what? I'm going to stand all the way up. Can y'all see what I have on? An early morning tea t-shirt now. They're going to be available on my website and on my Building Fruitful Friendships page. I have 3 pages. I probably have more than that. I have my personal page. I have my business page, which is Grace to Win. I have early morning tea, and then I have Building Fruitful Friendships. So I actually have 4 social media platforms. But also, that's not all. You can get an early morning tea tote. These are going to be on my website. Here it is. This one is a cotton, and it's, you just put it over your shoulder. Take it if you're not going to get a lot of stuff. You can take it into Walgreens or CVS, or you can go to a smaller store. You're not going to carry it. You're just going in for a few things. Or you can put your Bible in it, carry your Bible, your books in it. This is the smaller tote. And then there's the bigger tote. This one has a zipper. This one has a zipper. It's a little bit bigger. Carry more things in it. All right. It opens up. It's quite big. Early morning tea. My brand is on this one. And also, one of the smallest, this is an early morning tea pin that I also ordered. So all of these early morning tea products, the mug and the tote bags, the pin, all right, are going to be available on my website, which is www.thegracetowin. And I'm waiting for my friend Catrice to upload them. She might have uploaded them yesterday, but they're also going to be on my Building Fruitful Friendship page as well. That's where my store is located. Again, if you need a mug, not need a mug, but if you want a mug and you want to follow and sip your favorite brand of tea or coffee during our early morning tea devotional hour, just inbox me and I will be glad to put in an order for you. Last thing I want to say is, in the new year, starting in January, I'm going to be doing my early morning tea. We're going to be doing it a little. I'm not going to tell you because, you can't tell your enemy stuff because, not y'all, but, you do have some enemies. It's going to be just a little bit different. I wrote a post yesterday and I'm thanking God for some clarity and how I can continue to do my early morning tea, my Grace to Win, my grief counseling, and my building fruitful friendships, because mentorship is something, and friendship and partnership and networking is something I really believe in. So in the new year, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We'll still have early morning tea Mondays and Wednesdays. And now you know that we have finished our book. So I had purchased this book, and I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook. It's called From People Pleaser to Soul Pleaser: 6 Steps to Being Who You Are Meant to Be, by Tracy Secombe, Secombe. I'm going to be sharing this book at our early morning tea in the new year. And there are a couple of books that I bought also, but I'm going to be I might not read the whole book, but there are some things that I really think that we need to talk about. And one of the things is moving from people pleasing to soul pleasing. And we're going to make what that means clearer. A lot of times we do things based on how people feel about it instead of how we feel about it, because a lot of people are people pleasers. Okay. And you're not pleasing yourself when you become a people pleaser. You have to learn how to stay true to yourself. What works for you? What's good for your soul, instead of trying to be like Mike and Jenny and Sister Watermelon and Sister Cantaloupe and all them. No, you need to be your authentic self. When you're your authentic self, then you can help people. All right. You can really bless and help people. And that's what I want to do. So that's one of the books. Again, you will probably see it. That's where I saw it. I saw it on my Facebook page. Okay. From People Pleaser to Soul Pleaser. If you want to get this book and follow along with us in the new year, please do so. But there's also a woman from my church who also is an author, and I'm going to share that also. Maybe I'm coming back Friday. I'm going to show that book to you also. So there are a couple of books that I have in mind for devotionals for 2024. But as far as my other formats, stay tuned. We're going to be trying to do something different. And again, last of all, if you want to get an early morning tea mug, hit me up. One of the tote bags, a t-shirt, a pin, let me know. All right. We try to please. These are my products and my services that are all right. I don't know. On StreamYard, I was going in and out today. I know they're going to ask me how it was, and I'm going to give them a thumbs down today because I don't know. Maybe I have something open that I shouldn't have open. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I got through by 9:00. That's good for me. All right. Y'all didn't say too much today. Thank you, Stephanie Bryant. She's one of my members. Well, we don't call ourselves partners. She's actually part of the women's ministry. She was doing women's ministry before I got to Covenant Life Fellowship, but she's one of the women that I work with. I have a great group of women, 3 women: Stephanie Bryant, Libby Coley, Allison Russell. That's the team, because you know what? Teamwork makes the dream work. We the dream team of women's ministry. We even have a new name that we're moving forward with in 2024. So you don't follow Covenant Life Fellowship, that's where I is, y'all. I is partner over the women's ministry, along with my 3 friends that we're all working together. If you don't follow Covenant Life Fellowship, that's where I is. So you can just, follow us on Sunday at 10 o'clock. And follow us. There are going to be some things that we may be doing that we might even do them on Facebook or on Zoom. And then you can connect with me there. All right. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. Please share the video. And Lord willing, in the creek don't rise, I will be back on Friday at 8 o'clock. Same time, same bat station. No, same early morning tea station. Have a great day. Don't forget to DM me if you would like a early morning tea cup. All right.